In the quiet industrial corners of Phoenix, Arizona, an investigation once uncovered a scene that seemed to belong in a nightmare rather than in reality. Federal Bureau of Investigation agents entered a building they thought was a medical research facility, and instead found what would later be called a human chop shop. Inside the warehouse, cold air filled the room as they discovered containers holding severed limbs, torsos stacked on metal tables, and bags of body parts labeled for shipment. It was supposed to be a place where donated bodies were used to advance science, but the truth told a darker story of greed and deception. The facility was called Biological Resource Center, run by a man named Stephen Gore. He had promised families that their loved ones would help train doctors and aid medical research, but instead, the bodies were cut apart and sold like merchandise. Some were sent to military testing sites for explosions and ballistics research. Others were distributed to unapproved buyers with no record of consent. The families who had donated out of goodwill would later learn that the remains of their relatives had been desecrated and used for profit. When agents raided the site in the year 2014, what they saw shook even experienced investigators. Reports described body parts piled in coolers, heads stored in freezers, and a grotesque mixture of limbs that seemed arranged with no respect for human dignity. One agent compared it to a horror film, but this scene was very real. Years later, in the year 2015, Gore pleaded guilty to running an illegal enterprise. He received probation instead of prison time, a decision that angered many of the victim families. In a separate civil trial, jurors awarded millions of dollars to the families who had been deceived. They said the judgment was not about money, but about truth and accountability. The scandal exposed a hidden and largely unregulated industry that few people even knew existed. Across the United States, body donation programs operate with little oversight, selling parts for education, research, or profit. Arizona lawmakers eventually passed new rules meant to regulate these operations. Yet even today, the enforcement of those laws remains inconsistent. The story of the Arizona Human Chop Shop stands as a grim reminder of what can happen when ethics fall behind profit and oversight fails to protect the dignity of the dead. It is a story that continues to haunt families and investigators alike. Long after the warehouse doors were sealed for the final time,